If you want to know how the G20 summit went for Joe Biden, well, this photo says it all. Not only was Joe the last to arrive for the group photo, he's positioned way out in left field playing Where's Waldo with world leaders. The opposite of Donald Trump, who was front and center for these pictures every single time. Trump's sole mission was putting America first and exhibiting strength on the world stage. When Trump was in charge, he didn't let anyone push us around. Instead, he did all the pushing, like the time he shoved the Prime Minister of Montenegro during a tour of the NATO headquarters in 2017. We know Joe Biden couldn't do that. He's the pushover here. His credibility is weak, and now that Trump is gone, these countries are walking all over us. Joining me now, nationally syndicated radio host and author Dana Loesch. Welcome, Dana. It's so great to have you on.
Thanks. Thanks, Rachel. Good to be with you.
So sometimes a picture says 1,000 words. I mean, there was Joe Biden way off to the end. I think he was next to the president of Congo. What does this tell you about Joe Biden and whether he's putting our country first?
Oh, goodness. This photo, it's so awkward because you're right. He's standing just over to the side. He's like the odd man out, like it's a group of friends that got together. You know, maybe they had like a backyard barbecue. They're all posing for a photo. And Joe's like the guest of someone who really doesn't know anyone else there. It's weird. And it just seemed weak. Like his address to the summit seemed weak. The whole thing was weak. Now, I remember, Rachel, and you were just talking about this, all of the headlines about former President Trump, who really kind of like pushed his way through to the front and center, where, by the way, America should be, because not a single one of these objectives that are all dearly held by every single one of these leaders present and pictured are even in anywhere in the realm of being accomplished were it not for the participation of the United States. If there's a country that has a problem, they treat the United States like we're like Ghostbusters or something. Who are you going to call? America. We're going to call the United States to come and get us out of every single jam. So yes, and America, by the way, because the topic for the last day of discussions, as I understand it, was about climate, Rachel. So the United States, so I mean, talking about the Paris Agreement, is the only country that's present and party to this that actually reduced emissions, if that's the thing that people are going for. So yeah, Joe Biden should have pushed his way right to the front and center. And if people don't like it, they can step up and do as much as America does for the rest of the world.
Absolutely. It's so, you know, they're going to, as our country is facing inflation, all kinds of economic issues, you know, he's there actually trying to figure out ways to make gas and energy more expensive for us. You know, and also with Donald Trump, you bring up such a great point. You know, when he went, it wasn't just the photo op. He always came back with like, they're going to pay more money for the help that we're giving or the security that we're giving them. He was actually looking out for American people. I look at Joe Biden, he's figuring out ways for us to pay more.
Yeah, no, Trump would get concessions. He would get an agreement. That's why he and Angela Merkel, one of the reasons why they went round and round. Everybody remembers that one picture where Trump was sitting at the desk and Merkel was kind of pointing a finger at him, kind of looking angrily at him. Well, one of the reasons why that conversation, why there was a little bit of tension there, is because Trump was insisting that Germany pay into as much to NATO as the United States does. It's for your own defense against that common, you know, political enemy. So yeah, Trump would come out with some concessions, and people did not like him because he did not take the flak. Whereas Biden is apologizing for us leaving the Paris Agreement, which was essentially an unconstitutional treaty binding every of the 50 states. So it's insane. So yeah, he should have been front and center, but he's too weak. Somebody should have let him there.
Well, listen, there were 400 private jets that went to the G12 summit where they talked about climate. And then Joe Biden had an 85-car motorcade to go visit the Pope, where they also discussed the weather. How grotesque is all this?
It's hypocrisy. I'm not going to be lectured to, nor should you or anyone watching this right now. We should not be lectured to by people who don't even follow their own advice. People who behave like this whole, I get it. There's not a consensus on it. They're acting like it's like a rich person's hobby. Like, get crochet like somebody, like a normal person. This is insane. It's sickening.
I couldn't agree. And I don't know how to crochet. It's a good one. All right, Dana, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.